friends. We are talking about this article about a stalking, a lady who has been stalked by a boyfriend, and where it leads me. And there was this little note where they mention a jewel. They called Reerslev jewel, and I'm still talking about that Reerslev. And we have talked a lot about the jewel, and some with people who have the name. But then I tried to search the Reerslev name and Dubai, because there have been different kind of roads leading me to Dubai in what I have talked about. And when I searched those two words, the ring that is named Dubai is coming forward, but the crown prince also came on a picture. And that's a little weird, because when I search the word Dubai, there could have come a million other pictures up from the city and the king and everything else from Dubai. But it only showed me the crown prince when he was a boy and when he was grown up. But the Reerslev is not only a jewel company, it is also a city, a little country city near Copenhagen. And now we see where that can lead me. But first I will tell you that almost spelled the same name, but an R in between. There came a city who was in the western part of Zealand that was named Reerslev with R. But I have seen also the Reerslev near Copenhagen is also sometimes spelled with an R in between, both with and without the R. But in this little city in the western part of Zealand, the only little thing I'll mention here is that it had laid in a place that was called Lions. I don't know what here this Lions place. It's a place called something with lion. So there we are into a little bit that could lead to some royalty. But and there also was something with the church area that is called Finderup Reerslev Pastorat. That's a little fun for a Dane, because there are a big story about a place called Finderup where there were murder, but that was in another part of Denmark. That was in the Jutland part, as far as I remember, something called Finderup. But we see there are always something that can confuse the enemy, so I assume that's why there are two places called Reerslev. And yeah. But a little funny thing, I found an old paper note where 5 crowns, there we have the number 5, that could lead to something with money. But the picture on this is a church from a city that is called Kalundborg, where this Finderup are a part of this area of the country, and Kalundborg is up here. That's the main city in this area here. So there we have this connection, but the only thing I found from the city, it has 5 towers, this church. But here I also go into the color. We have this green, bluish color, green, blue, grey color. We also had here in the article. But from the city, I found a school, something called a free school. They have also this on this side where I searched this address, and the school is on a street called King's Place Street, and then number 10. So there we have the energy connection, but it is closed, and I'll not go into detail, but it's closed and it has not been sold yet, but that's it. And then we come to the other Breslev, that is spelled like the jewel. It is laying in this place, very close to Copenhagen, at the end that leads to Sweden here. But it's also, there are a lot of things mixed together with churches are in some area, and the land are in some area. It's mixed in different kind of ways, so I cannot go into that. But why I suddenly find everything become more and more interesting is because one of my grandfathers actually came from this place that was called Kildebrønde, and Kildebrønde means the source where there are water. And I have mentioned also, I think, that kilde in Danish means when you tickle somebody, and it means some water that is running. But in English, it sounds like you are killing somebody, and it is all a part of what I have found. There's a little funny story about the area, about the priests who seems to cannot agree about things. So the king is very busy with these priests, and he writes several letters where he say, you are not allowed to run this church, and you are not allowed to, almost like if you were a parent, where one is said you are not allowed to teach your children, have your child, and the other parents also. I combined it with that because it sounds very much like that kind of a story, and a third part is in it then, but in the end it seems too that one of the churches end up to decide, but it's none of those who were fighting in the start. So there we have an old story where priests are fighting in a way that could be compared with a child case today. But an old postcard from the city. We have the church in a round ring, so maybe that could tell us something. A priest house. We have a mill. We have talked a little bit about mill with the Breslev who was working for the people who are called Müller, who own the big container ship company. We have a school, we have a place where you can buy groceries. So, and here we have an old mill. So the mill seems also to have something to do with used in those coatings. Church and school and missionary house. I have one more picture of this missionary house. It's a very special building. It looks to, and the grocery. But the city Reerslev is named after a man. And it's put together of two words. The man's name, retar, and live. And that means what you get from your forefathers or something. I don't know the English word for it, but when a person dies, what you get when they die, or it can also mean how your forefathers' body and mind maybe were, you will also get after them. But a man named Retar and the word to live. So there's something with life. At the place there are 3 Stone Age Stone Age hills, and there are 6 Bronze Age hills. So there we have the 3 and the 6. We have to go back to 1257. So there we have the 1 ring and the 57 they talk so much about, 5D. To find the name Ritzalev in the writings. The church in the city is from 1100. And what does it say here? There are some calc paintings inside the church about Jesus' life and how he lived. There's a name, Holger Wynn, 1672. We have a place, area that was called Bensondale. Bensondale, there we have Ben and something that sounds like sun. 1728 there. Let's go to the next. What is he doing there? We'll come back to this guy.